Hey everybody, Jeremy here, back again with the Ninja Foodi 2-in-1 Flip Toaster. And what I'm going to be making today is something that is really simple and I think could make a nice breakfast treat, or why not, a snack throughout the day if you want. I'm going to be making ham and cheese croissant rolls. And to do that, we're going to be using some off-the-shelf, buy it wherever you want ingredients. So I got a tube of those Pillsbury Crescent rolls there. And then I also have some Dijon mustard, a couple slices of American cheese, and I got some Black Forest ham sitting in the package back there. So nothing fancy that you're going to need for this. And then when they're all done, we're going to top it off with a little bit of butter. All right, so let me show you how you can do this. So as you can see, once you take the crescent rolls out of the tube, you can put it down on a cutting board or something and just roll it out. And these are like those perforated, already cut crescent rolls. So it's really easy just to pull these apart and get started that way. But since they're all ready together and we already have them like this, we'll just pull them apart later at the end. So for right now, I'm just going to put a little bit of Dijon mustard right there across the whole sheet, and then the return of the little soft tip brush. I'm telling you guys, get yourself one of these. It is proven to be extremely useful across many different occasions. We're going to need some more mustard, but it's better to add more as you go along as opposed to using way too much in the beginning. But yeah, definitely get yourself one of these. I found it to be very useful when it comes to stuff like barbecue. You're trying to brush some barbecue sauce on something. I always prefer these over the little like bristle brushes, you know, because the little bristle brushes, what if a little piece of the bristle comes off and it's in your food and you don't know that it's in your food? You know, I just don't like that. But with these, if one of these red tips comes off, which I've had this for, heck, I don't know, maybe about more than a year, it has never come off. And if it did, you would notice. So yeah, they're really cheap. Get yourself one of these. All right, so anyway, we're just gonna lightly brush that mustard all across the sheets. I believe this is about 8 sheets or so. All right. So once you get that done, I'm going to simply break these apart, and then we're going to start putting on the ham and the cheese. All right, so I'm not going to do all of them on camera, but I am just going to show you how we're going to do one of these. So I got myself one piece of this deli ham. And what I'm going to do is just kind of fold it over and kind of just like lay it right there in the middle, making sure that it fits, you know. And then we're going to take a slice of this cheese, and I'm not going to use the entire slice, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want, while this is cooking, for everything to get really overheated and then the cheese just starts bursting out of the croissant and it's just kind of messy. I want everything to kind of stay contained. So what I'm going to do is just take a portion of that ham and just kind of lay that right there on top. All right. And then I'm just going to start to roll it up nice and tight, getting all of it all the way to the very end, all the way to the little tip. And then I kind of like to just sort of seal the ends as best I can, just in case that cheese wants to escape. So we seal that up, and then that one's good to go. All right, so let's just do one more. Let's do one more. Let's move this over and let's get like this little smaller piece right here, because they're not all even. All right, so we got this little one here. Now, as you can see, it's not as much surface area to work with. So I'm still going to take the ham and I'm still going to get the ham right there. It's not quite falling over the sides. And then for the cheese, I have a little bit of cheese right there. That's all the cheese that I'm going to use, you know, for this particular one. And then again, Roll, roll, roll your croissant gently up the dough. And then you can kind of see that there. I'm going to try to see if I can seal that as best I can. Try to keep some of that cheese within the dough. All right, so we got that in. This end is mostly contained. Should be okay. So that's that one. All right, so we're just going to continue to do that exact same thing for the rest of these crescent roll slices. Then we're going to put it inside of the flip toaster, and we'll be almost done at that point. So now that we got all of our rolls rolled, I want to take out this little tray here and just show you real quick. I've already lined it with aluminum foil. Now you can use parchment paper if you want, but I decided to use aluminum foil because it's just easier for me to work with, easier to manipulate. Now what I'm going to do here is, well actually let's put it up here. So what I'm going to do now is just start laying these rolls down. And as you can see, you don't have a whole lot of space on here for all of these. So we're just going to see what we can do to fit as many as we can. And another thing is try to leave some type of separation between them so that the dough isn't touching and pressing up against each other. Because I have found that when that happens, you're going to have to separate them eventually, because when they really start to get almost done, when you pull them apart, that dough is still going to be kind of raw in the middle where they were sticking. So just try to create some space to minimize that from happening. But you know, overall, you definitely need to keep an eye on it. All right, so this worked out really good. We're able to get all of them on there laying horizontally, and there's some space in between them as well. All right, so now let's take this, make sure that the little toaster plunger thingy, I don't even know what this is called, make sure that it's all the way down before you use it in oven mode. So let's put this in here, turn it on, and we're going to have it on bake. We're going to set the temperature to 350 degrees. And then we're going to set the timer for, I'm just going to put it at 20. Should be done between 15 and 20 minutes. But we are definitely going to pop in every once in a while and check it. Try not to just blindly rely on any recipe that you see as far as how long it's going to take for something to cook, because there can be different factors that determine whether you're going to cook longer or perhaps even cook shorter. So make sure that you check in on these things. I would say at least every 5 minutes, just to see where you're at. And once these are done, we are going to come back and check on it. All right, so we're all done. So that took about 19 minutes, give or take, before they were done. And in the meantime, I microwaved about a tablespoon or so of butter, and I added some parsley flakes to that butter. And now, using our happy little brush, I'm just going to brush the top of these with this mixture of parsley flakes and melted butter. So I think these came out really, really nicely. Again, when you do this, just make sure that you're checking in on them. Like I said, like around every 5-ish minutes or so, just to make sure that as this dough expands, if they begin touching each other, that you separate them as well as you can in order for that dough to fully cook along the side. So the only thing left to do right now is to try one of these. I'm just going to try this one right here. But this is really good. Let me grab one that has some cheese. Yeah, like this one has cheese. So this one has cheese in it. And these are really tasty. And part of that, a big part of that really, is because of the crescent rolls that we use. You know, these are some really good Pillsbury right off the shelf in your refrigerated section of your grocery store. And they already have a nice flaky, buttery taste to it that we just sort of add on when we put that Dijon mustard on the inside of them before we started cooking them. Then of course, when you top the bread with butter, mwah, it's just so good. I think that this can be something that's really nice in the morning, maybe with your cup of coffee. It feels like this is something that would go well with coffee. And there's enough of them here definitely for the average person to eat the majority of them and still get nice and full, and it's tasty. And this is just ham and cheese. You can add different things in here if you want. You know, you can stuff it to the heavens if you want. Just make sure that you don't go too crazy, because you still want it to be contained and not bursting all over the place. So go ahead, experiment with it, play with it a little bit, and let me know how it turns out for you. All right, so that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.